What is something we can all agree on being a D move? Not paying someone back or being difficult when you owe money to someone. Don't ever give out personal loans. Give out one-time gifts without expectation of repayment. If they pay you back, then you might gift again in the future. Otherwise, it's a one-time thing. Getting on the train before letting other passengers get off the train first. Or being the one passenger that failed to get up and leave at the right time, only to try and complain when people are already entering. Cutting in line when there's no emergency. Although I don't call people out on it, I'm always glad when there is someone else in line who isn't as timid and does so. The people who do those things are depending on people not speaking up. Taking someone else's lunch from the breakroom fridge. Had a guy the first worked with who was notorious for this. One day he sees me in the break room and goes, "I didn't know that was yours." I took a drink from that. I figured I'd teach him a lesson. So I said, "You know I have herpes, right?" He got all bug-eyed and freaked out. Then I thought, I don't want him spreading rumors about me. So I said, "I don't. But if I did, you'd be screwed. That's why you don't do that. I didn't know that was yours." I would have said, "You sure as shish knew it wasn't yours though." Throwing your trash on the floor. Especially when there's a trash can right over there. Littering in general irks me. If I am hanging with someone and they litter, I quickly consider them a trashy person. Most of the time I'll tell them to just pick it up, but my mind about their character has already been made up. Taking up multiple seats on public transit when you can easily sit in one. Caveat: it's fine if it's mostly empty. This is the worst. Especially if it's someone who put their bag on the seat next to them. I get it. You want your personal space. But we're all in this sardine can together. So we might as well compromise. Corollary: when public transport is mostly empty. Spread the F out. There is literally no reason to sit near to people unless you know them. Ordering expensive food and/or drinks while out with friends and that guy says at the end, "Let's split it all evenly." My wife has a lot of pretty wealthy friends. And we'll go out to group birthday dinners with them sometimes. This is especially a problem if we do tapas because there are a few guys that will just order a shish ton of food and expensive plates. Expensive wine. And then expect to just split it evenly with everyone. My wife just tells them F that and pays for what we ate. It's awkward. Beating another driver to a parking space. Even though they were there first, with blinkers on, about to take it. Like in the movie Fried Green Tomatoes. Face it. Lady. We're younger and faster. Ram's car. Face it. Girls. I'm older and I have more insurance. Standing up to get your bags and crowd the gate door because you're Mr. Big Shot just after flight attendants told everyone to stay seated so medical personnel could evac the guy at the back of the plane who just had a heart attack in front of his kids. Anytime someone ignores emergency personnel as thoughtless and selfish. I once got the finger from the car behind me because I moved to the shoulder for an ambulance to pass. Likewise, people who park in a fire lane. I hope they all get very expensive tickets. I bet those are the same people who practically gang rush the door when they announce the first group can disembark on a cruise on the last day. I hate those people. Group A boarding. Group E people rush up. Things YouTubers consider pranks. Usually. General rule of pranks is that at the end of them, the victim should be laughing. Apparently this isn't common knowledge. Nah, the victim should be a corpse at the end of a good prank. A few friends and I were eating. Bill came to the table. We all laid out our tip money. And my friend's boyfriend started pulling money out of the tip for his meal. The look on my friends' faces. I hope you stopped him. You misspelled slapped. Man. Bill sounds like a huge jerk. Reread it twice trying to figure out if Bill was the waiter or the friend before figuring out they meant the bill. We went on a ladies' weekend and there was a situation with one extremely drunk friend, so we needed to leave quickly. My friend put the whole meal on her credit card, 10 people, so we could leave faster. Back at the Airbnb we split up the meal and allocated the gratuity and tax for everyone so they could pay her back. One chick drank like 3 beers. And did an additional 3 Irish car bombs. Got an appetizer and an 8 ounces fillet for dinner. and then insisted on one last shot before we left. Her portion was about $100 before tax and tip. She Venmo'd my friend only the $100. There was 18% gratuity automatically added and at least 6% tax. So friend was out like $30 because this a-hole refused to pay her back for tax and tip. Yeah. But spending just $30 to discover whether or not you'd want to hang out with someone again is kinda worth it. In the long run. Trying to merge onto the interstate and them speeding up making you essentially stop to get on. If we both would have continued at the same pace I would have been fine to get on, but no. Also, doing 34 miles per hour down the on-ramp to a highway with a 70 miles per hour speed limit and holding up everyone behind you trying to get on that highway. I despise this because so many semi-trucks use highways and can't exactly drastically slow down on a dime or lane change on the fly. So I see my life flashing before my eyes every single time I'm stuck behind someone puttering along on an on-ramp. F-ing your best friend's girlfriend. Literally a D move. Cutting someone off in a lane just to slow way the F down and make a last-minute turn. Or pulling out in front of someone when there's no one else coming behind them. I was driving to work a few weeks back along our major thoroughfare, which has 4 lanes in either direction, when traffic in the left 2 lanes came to a complete stop. The cause was the driver of a relatively new BMW, who was stopped perpendicular to the direction of traffic across both through lanes, waiting to cut into the left turn lane in front of the multiple cars already there. He did have his turn signal on. Offering something and taking back your offer. I had a friend that was offered a job recently. Good pay. In her field, and it looked good. For reference, she was a PhD graduate who got a research position. So she got the offer and then put a deposit on an apartment and got ready for work. A few days before starting the university, rescinded the offer. In a bind, she applied to other positions but got no bites. The window for hiring for unis was over. She took jobs as a housekeeper and other cash-fast jobs. Eventually she left the country for her home country. Such a D move by the school. Don't know if someone already said this, but not using headphones in a public place. Or even worse, playing your music from a boombox or speaker. Like Jesus F. There was a time where I was eating dinner at a late-night restaurant with some friends and there was a couple blasting R&B out of their phone. We just ignored it, lol. Being mean to waitstaff or anyone working in retail. Most of the time they can't control the things you're angry about anyway. I have been a cashier at 2 stores. And customers are just disturbingly rude to me. Despite being the smiling and cheerful version of myself to them. Someone even called me the N-word. And I am a white girl. With a few friends drinking at a bar. Talking with a girl. I go to the bathroom. Friends tell her that I'm gay. Girl lost interest in me. Doesn't seem like they're your friends. People are so quick to throw labels on others. Like 5 years ago I was dropping my brother off at work at sports bar in our hometown. He tells to come in and he'll buy me something to eat. So of course I agree. Anyways, we sit down at a table and are making jokes and laughing as you can only do with someone you've spent your whole life around. Anyways, the waitress comes over and immediately asks us how long we've been dating. I look past her and see the rest of the female staff in the background eagerly listening into our conversation. So obviously me and my brother's romantic relationship held great interest for them. Repeatedly ghosting on your plans with frienda. I had a friend who used to do this. Dude was awesome and I always wanted to chill, but he would invite me out to a bar or a show and I would get there and 10 minutes later he would text me saying he couldn't make it. Like he made the plans and then waited till I got there and cancelled. He moved away, but that was some D-level shish right there. Being the one to make the plans. Then ditching the plans. And saying, oh you girls have fun without me lol. Taking 2 parking spaces so nobody scratches your precious car. At a mall with absolutely no parking left on Christmas Eve last year I saw a brand new Alfa Giulietta which had done this. And been written on with lipstick and magic marker when I arrived. When I left, someone else had also keyed his door. Not me. I promise. As a car guy who cares dearly about my vehicle. Anyone who actually wants to protect their car from the public. I just park in the back corners of lots where no one else parks and just accept the extra walking involved. Tailgating. If you are driving so close behind me that I end up paying the same level of attention to my rear view mirror as I do the road ahead of me. F you. Aggressively tailgating is worse. You just know the moment the tiniest gap appears Mr. Small PP is going to barge into it and then zip in and out of traffic. I'm physically unable to move out of your way. And the traffic in front of me is also going slow. There's nothing I can do, so back the F off. My absolute favorite driving story is a white van man who did this for about 5 miles. He was so close he was practically humping my rear bumper. Finally traffic clears to the right of me and he zooms in front. And then spots the state trooper I was following. I have never been more satisfied to see someone pulled over in my life.